There's deals everywhere right now on credit card sign-up bonuses, and Chase just announced theirs for the Chase Sapphire Preferred credit card, and it's one of the best that we've seen in a really long time. 100,000 sign-up bonus points. Now in this video, I'm going to go through more details on what the offer is and also how to make sure that you qualify and get this offer, especially if you're in the market for another credit card. So let's dig into it. Let's go through what you need to know about the offer. So the offer is for 100,000 sign-up bonus points, which is a lot more than their typical 60,000 sign-up bonus points, almost double. But obviously there is a catch. Now, the main thing that's changed is the spend required to get those bonus points. Where before you would have had to spend $4,000 in the first 3 months. They've upped that, so it's now $5,000 in the first 3 months, which isn't terrible because you are getting a lot of value for spending that additional $1,000. So you're getting almost 67% more points while only spending 25% more. Now that's a huge benefit and a great return on your spend. Now the tricky part with Chase is the internal rule that they have in terms of getting approved for their credit cards. The first one is the 524 rule, which essentially means that if you've opened 5 or more personal credit cards in the last 24 months, you're almost certainly going to get denied. I actually applied for this promo just last week and I was denied for that exact reason. I was in the branch and the rep recommended the credit card because I didn't have it yet. And they're like, at that time, it was only in branch where you could get the bonus points of 100,000. Now you can get it online as well. And I thought, okay, I'll apply. Maybe it's with the rep and that'll help me get over the 524 rule. Because remember, the 524 rule isn't an official rule. You won't find it in like any of their documents, but you'll notice it when you get denied for a card. It'll say, I forget the exact wording, but it's basically along the lines that you've had too many recent opened accounts. And that is what they're referring to. In fact, when the rep told me that I was denied and the reasoning for it was because of the number of credit cards that I had opened up in the last 24 months, I knew that she was talking about the 524 rule. And that's definitely one of the downsides of the Chase credit cards. If you know you want one, you almost have to plan 24 months in advance to make sure that you're not applying for other cards. But it's so worth it. Building that relationship with Chase bears so much fruit, especially in the long term. So the next rule that you have to be cognizant of is the 48-month Sapphire rule, which basically states that you can only have a Chase product if you don't currently have one, and if you haven't received a sign-up bonus in the last 48 months. So what that essentially means is you can't have more than one Sapphire product with Chase, which is I don't like that rule because it really limits you on the number of credit cards, especially Sapphire cards that you can have with Chase. But I mean, it's not terrible. You can always open up different credit cards with them, which are also really great. But it is a bummer. I don't really like it. But regardless, if you have opened up a Sapphire card in the last 48 months, then you might not be able to get this bonus. And again, you'll just have to wait for that 48 months to end. And now this one is an official rule. You will actually find it on their website. But again, make sure to wait for that 48 months, especially if you want that sign-up bonus. And then also just related to how many cards you have opened, if you've opened a credit card in the last 30 days, I may hold off on applying with Chase because again, they are very sensitive to recent inquiries and recent applications and recent credit card openings. So definitely I would hold off for a little bit, maybe a couple of weeks until you get past that 30 days to apply, especially if you just got in a credit card recently. Okay, so you've passed all the rules, you're eligible for the sign-up bonus, and you've been on the fence about getting a Sapphire card for a while. Here's why I think you need to just go for it and get this card. First, the 100,000 sign-up bonus. Like, we haven't seen a sign-up bonus that great in a really long time for a Sapphire product. In fact, I think the last time there was a sign-up bonus of 100,000 points, it's been a few years, I think 2021 or 2022. There have been a few offers where it's gone past their traditional 60,000 points, but even then it's only been like 75, 80,000. So if you're looking for the Chase Sapphire card and you want those bonus points, there's no better time than this offer. The second is that the timing really works of this promotion because let's say you get this credit card, and you do the required spend, and so within 3 months you get those 100,000 points. That's actually the perfect time where you want to start planning and booking your trips for next summer. So the timing is really great there. And hopefully you already have a few points from before, and you can combine all of those points together and have a really nice quality redemption for next summer. Maybe, a little White Lotus wellness retreat if that's on your bucket list. So this would be a great way to fund that. And then at the end of the day, it's a $95 annual fee for this card, which for the amount of value that you're getting, $95 is a steal. I'm not going to go into the details of why I think the Sapphire Preferred is such a great credit card in this video. This video, I really just wanted to get the message out there about this 100,000 sign-up bonus, because if you've already been thinking about this Chase Sapphire Preferred card, now's the time to get it for the reasons listed above. If you need a video or a review of why this card is so great, I'll make one later. Let me know in the comments below if you really want one, and I'll make one. But I didn't do the review now just so I just don't want you to miss out on those 100,000 points. Now, I do want to point out that just because it's such a great offer for 100,000 points by spending $5,000, that doesn't mean that you need to go out and find a way to spend $5,000, especially just for the points. Travel hacking works best when you're using the points in conjunction with your everyday spending. Because if you're going into debt or spending more to just get these points in order to travel, you're missing the entire point. The point of travel hacking is to get points and get rewarded for the spending that you would do on a regular basis. So especially when it comes to sign-up bonuses, there is that general higher amount of spending up front. So what I like to do is time your credit card applications with a time in your life where you are going to have that higher spend. So maybe it's, you've got a birthday party or a wedding coming up, or maybe it's your own wedding, and you've got spend related to that, and so you can spend that extra amount to achieve those sign-up bonuses a lot easier. And it doesn't just have to be around big events like that. It can even be little things like, let's say you need a new laptop, or one thing I've noticed is like auto insurance. Now they require a lot more upfront, especially I just switched auto insurance providers, and they required almost like 30, or I think it was like 40% upfront for their premium, which was insane. I was like, wow, I've never had to do that before. I unfortunately didn't have a credit card with a sign-up bonus required to take advantage of it. But maybe if you're in those same shoes, and you need to pay for a premium upfront, or at least a portion of it, maybe you can put it on the Chase Sapphire Preferred and get those bonus points. And I definitely do need a laptop soon, so once I get past that 524 rule, I will definitely be applying again and waiting to purchase that laptop with a sign-up bonus, because that just makes so much sense. All right, so that's all I've got for this video. Now go get those points, and I'll see you in the next video.